Hey guys, another day that I'm not going to be here. I want to go through these notes on YouTube and get you guys rolling. So we're going to start off pretty quick and go. We're going to take a step back. We're actually going to go to algebra, early on algebra, maybe even a little pre-algebra here. We're going to talk about ratio and proportions, which sets us up into what we're going to do geometrically here in a little bit. But a ratio, if we're looking at a ratio, that's going to be a comparison of two numbers by division. So we could say, if it's 1 out of 2, 1 divided by 2, which would be, if you made one free throw out of 2 attempts, you would be shooting 50%. So that's our ratio, 1 out of 2. We see it by a comparison of two numbers by division. Proportion, that's when you have two ratios that are equal. So if we still use that 1/2, that 1 out of 2, okay, I want to think about another ratio that's equal to that. Well, 2 out of 4 would be equal to that. Both of them come out to be 0.5 when we divide them out. So that's what our proportions would be, comparing two ratios and they are equal. Okay, if two ratios are equal, so proportions, then the cross products are equal. So meaning if we were to take this 1 out of 2 and 2 out of 4 and we cross multiply, 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. We get the same product if we cross multiply. So out of this, A times D will equal B times C. So whenever we have ratios here, we want to see, are these proportions? What we want to do is we want to cross multiply and see if we get the same answer. So we want to go 4 times 16 and 6 times 12. Does that equal 6 times 12? Okay, and 4 times 16 is 64, and 6 times 12 is 72. These are not equal, and if they're not equal, they're not proportions. Okay, so the next one, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. 3 times 10 is 30, 5 times 6 is 30. Yes, they are proportions. Okay, now we can use that to solve problems. We're missing this number here. We use a variable A. So since these are already set up and they're telling us they're equal, they're telling us they are proportions, we can cross multiply and to solve for that missing variable. 4 times A is 4A. 7.8 times 3.82. I have a calculator that I'm going to type that in on. 7.8 times 3.82. 29.76796. 29.796. Now 4A equals that. I want to solve for A. Divide by 4. A equals 7.449. On the next one, something that you need to look at here right off the bat is this negative sign, okay? Does that mean that the 3's a negative and the 7's a negative? No, it doesn't. What it means is that one of them is negative. It can be either a -3 and a +7 or a +3 and a -7. But one of these negative sign, this negative sign has to go to one of these numbers. Let's just say it's a -3. Cross multiply, -3 times x, -3x. Now this 7, notice there's two terms up here in the top part of this fraction. I have to take that 7 and I have to distribute to both of those numbers. So that -3x is going to equal positive 7x, and then 7 times 2 is positive 14. Now I want to do the algebra steps to solve this out. I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides, and now I'm getting all of my x's on one side of the equal sign here. Negative 10x equals 14. Last, to solve for x, I need to divide by that negative 10 to counter that. And we get that it's negative 1.4. Some more of these proportions on the next side. Cross multiply, 5 times x, that's 5x. And now when we do this, we have to distribute that 3 to both of those terms. So 5x equals 3x. Okay, I gotta remind myself to put my phone on airplane mode. I was finishing up this problem right here and had a phone call come in and interrupt my recording. Sorry. So we distributed the 3 to the x and the 6, and we got 5x equals 3x plus 18. We now need to work the algebra. Getting all of our x's on one side, we want to subtract 3x from both sides. We get 2x equals 18. Now, instead of multiplying by 2, we want to get that x. We're going to counter that multiplication with division of 2. And what I do to one side, I have to do the other. And we get that x equals 9. Okay, here, notice that there's 2 terms in both of these. We got to distribute both. So 4x minus 8 equals 2x plus 12. Now, I'm going to combine some steps here. I'm going to get all of my x's to the left side of the equals. I'm going to get this negative 8 to the right side. So subtract 2x from both sides and go ahead and add 8 to both sides. There's my equal sign. And now I have 2x equals 20. Finish that out, divide by 2, x equals 10. Okay, now we can use proportions to solve a lot of math problems, and they're very, very handy. We use them a lot in class, and I like their usefulness. So as you look at this, Josephina sells helium balloons. She charges $9 for 12 balloons. At this rate, what would she charge for 50 balloons? Okay, so what's important about setting these things up, and I want y'all to do this, is set it up using the words. Notice over here on the notes it says words first. Okay, so when she charges $9 for 12 balloons, she is charging dollars over balloons. I'm not actually writing that out, I'm just using some letters, but that helps me stay organized. And this is very, very important. Do this. Stay organized with this. So it's 9 out of 12. And that's going to have to equal, and at this rate, what would she charge for 50 balloons? Now, 50 balloons. We're going to have another ratio over here, but does the 50 go on top or on bottom? And that's why the words come in handy. It's 50 balloons, and balloons goes on the bottom. And now we want to know x, the missing part. Cross multiply and solve. 12x equals, and 9 times 50 is 450. Okay, so we can use our calculator now. Okay, we have that 450 from that 9 times 50, and now I'm going to divide by 12. So divide by 12. 37.5. Now we're talking about dollars. That's what the words are good for here. So that's going to be $37.50. X equals $37.50. Okay, on the next one. A photocopy machine copies 50 pages in 1.5 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take the machine to copy 90 pages? So pages over minutes. So page over minutes, P over M. 50 out of 1.5 minutes has to equal 90 pages, and that goes because of our words. It goes on top. You might not think it's necessary, but it does help keep you organized. Cross multiply. So we have 50x. Now you might be thinking, what is 1.5 times 90? Use the calculator. 90 times 1.5. 135. So 50x has to equal 135. And now I want to solve for x. Divide by 50. And take your calculator and do that again. 2.7. A recent school bond issue passed 3 out of 4 votes in favor. It's very important right here, in favor of the bond. The total votes is 2,550 people voted against. Notice the differences there. This is the number that is in favor. This is the total, a total of 2,550 people voted against the bond. They're conflicting. If 3 out of 4 were for the bond, what were against it? It would have to be 1 out of 4 against. Okay, it's important to know the difference there because the number that they gave you was the total of people that voted against. We need to actually use this 1 out of 4. They try to trick us. Okay, so what does this 1 represent? The 1 represents the number against. The 4 represents the total number of people that voted. And now this, a total of 2,550 people voted against, so that would be on top. And we want to find out what did the actual total number of people, what are the total number of people that voted? So off of this, we can cross multiply. And we get that x equals, and then we'd have to go 2,550 times 4. And we get that the number of people that voted is 10,200. Total number of people that voted, okay? That helps us out. Because now how many people voted in favor? Now I can go back to this. This is in favor, or this is the people that voted for, 3 out of 4. And this is in favor and total. That has to be equal to the total number of people that voted, 10,200. And now I need to find y, the number of people that voted for. So I can cross multiply 10,200 times 3. So we have 4y equals 30,600. And then I need to divide by 4. And when you divide by 4, we get that y equals 7,650. Okay, quite a bit of work that we had to do there, but we had to acknowledge that some of the information was the opposite of the other information, and we had to put that together. So that was a pretty tough one. Look out for those on the assignments.